And a lot of James Harden's shots didn't fall last night. And when a reporter asked him about it, he said, hey, who cares? We won. That's all that really matters. CC, how are they able to do it? How do the Rockets beat the Warriors in Game 5?
There's not one thing, but if there was one thing that led them to victory, and we've talked about it only a little bit because given the coach, given his history, how he runs his offense, given Harden, how he scores the ball, given the rest of the team, Chris Paul, and how they've operated and the success that they've had or lack of playoff success that they haven't been able to have, it all amounts to defense, grit, hustle. That's the difference in this Houston team and the other teams that I've seen D'Antonio coach, the other teams I've seen Chris Paul on, the other teams I've seen James Harden on, and they got some help. Like the coach has got some help. He's got some guys willing to change their typical mode of operate, how they're going to go about doing business and play some defense. Pass up maybe a shot to get a guy a better shot. So you can see the total buy-in. But when you hold Golden State in the last two games to the numbers that they've held them to, you have to give credit to their defense. We talked about 2016 season. They were 26 in defense, went all the way up to number 6 this year. But even this season, they were 18th in defense, in total defense in the NBA, and moved up to that 6th mark. So those things are starting to play out in Game 4 and game number 5. And to me, those are the things that you can see. Those are the edge. Those are the differences in this Houston, the 2017-2018 version that's trying and really have chance to be world champions compared to the other teams I saw Chris Paul on, Harden on, and the ones that D'Antonio coached.
Listen, to build on the defense part of it, from the beginning of the fourth quarter of Game 4 to 2 minutes left in the first quarter of Game 5, in 22 minutes of basketball, the most talented team ever put together scored 22 points. 1 point a minute might get it done in like 7th, 8th grade junior high league. That doesn't get it done in the NBA. The defense was not quite as good after that, but still very good the rest of the way. And that's the only way you can overcome the MVP going 0 for 11 from 3. That's the only way you can overcome Chris Paul being 0 for 7 from the field in the first half. Yesterday on the show, I will make a bit of a confession here. I had a little bit of inside information when I said I think the Rockets are going to have one of those 3-point avalanche games. I knew going into the game that the game plan was shoot 40 to 45 threes. D'Antoni said after the game, I told him, we got to shoot 40 to 45 threes. Now, they shot 43 of them. They couldn't make them. They were 13 of 43. They won anyway. Trevor Ariza made 1 basket. They won anyway. What they were able to do last night, with the league MVP having a bad game by any measure, with Chris Paul being awful in the first half to then very good in the second half, it doesn't happen if the defense isn't there to keep you within striking distance.
And those aren't things that we talked about. We talked about, and Jenna, you held Nick and I to this. Well, you guys said that Chris Paul and Harden don't play outstanding.
Yeah.
They don't have a chance. Well, we didn't know. And or if we were being honest, we were wrong. Yep. Because the way this team came together, I mean, you're holding them under 95 points, under 100 points, you're going to have a chance. We couldn't see that part of it. So those team aspects of what they're doing, the total buy-in, there's no one that could have predicted, besides shooting that number of threes, that they were going to get that type of response. And we never thought there was a path to victory with them not shooting outstanding from the three-point line.
And the path to victory over the last 2 games with Harden missing 20 consecutive threes. Harden has missed his last 20 three-pointers. In that stretch, the Rockets have outscored the Warriors by 12 points. And I want to give D'Antoni... That's crazy. Since Harden is over his last 23s, in that stretch, it's from midway second quarter of Game 4 until where we sit here this morning, the Rockets have outscored the Warriors by 12 points while Harden hasn't made a 3. And here's where I'll give D'Antoni credit. One of the reasons they're playing better defensively is while D'Antoni's like, we're not going to change anything, we're going to do what we do, they did change one of the things they're doing defensively. They're not switching every screen.
No.
Which is preventing Golden State from being able to slip the screens to get easy layups.
Yes.
They are switching smarter. And the other thing D'Antoni's done is say, we're going to play 7 dudes. I don't care that the 7th of the 7 was unemployed a few months ago. Joe Johnson, you've got all NBA pedigree. Sit down. Ryan Anderson, you're making $21 million a year. Sit down. Luka Sharma-Bahamute, you've been excellent for us all year. You're injured. You're not yourself. Sit down. We're rolling with our 7 guys, and we're good with it.
What do you think about that, Steve? CC?
I mean, I know the coach is not telling the truth.
Why?
I know he's shocked that they couldn't get a good shot late in games. They lost 2 games that they gave. They got a starter out. The Hampton 5. Oh, the Hampton 5. They got a starter out. Iguodala's out. They got a chance with 1 possession. Either make a pass, make a shot, pick something, get one guy open, either hit a 3, hit a 2 to tie up one game.
Anything.
Hit a 3. That's all. And you've given those 2 games away, and you've dominated the NBA. So at no point the last 3 years you've been concerned. So you're still not concerned. Well, let me tell you something. The last time you lost consecutive games, you know what it led to, Steve Kerr? Losing the 3rd one in a row, which also costs you another championship, which also prevents you from right now. You know what you'd be doing, Steve Kerr, if you hadn't lost that one? You'd be going for a 4-peat.
Right, which has been done by no one since Russell Celtics.
Right.
I mean, listen, the Warriors in games 4 and 5 had a higher field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage than the Houston Rockets. This is according to StatMuse. They lost both those games. That's never happened in NBA history. That a team in back-to-back playoff games has better field goal, 3-point, and free throw percentage, and they lose both of those games.
What about the 3rd quarter discrepancy with Golden State? And they
were 51-0 prior to Game 4 if they beat their opponent by 15+ in the 3rd quarter. They were 39-1 this year when leading by double digits going into the 4th quarter. That one loss was Game 1 of the year against Houston, then Game 4. The reason I know why Steve Kerr is saying what he's saying, because he knows, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, he knows his team are some front runners. No team in NBA.
Oh, so you're saying he's just saying that because based on the makeup of his personnel, like Steph, Clay,
how they play, how they win, what they need.
KD especially. Draymond's really the only rough rider on the team.
Absolutely,
Okay.
Their history together that they have approached everything as the championship is a given. If we try hard, think about any time Steve Kerr has been critical of the team or they've been critical about themselves. We're not locked in. We were too sloppy. We weren't focused. It's never
careless with the basketball.
They've never even entertained the possibility
the opposition
might be better. And so you can't all of a sudden in Game 6 say, listen, because what Kerr was saying is, I loved our defense. No, you didn't. I watched that game. In the first half, the Rockets had open 3 after open 3. They just missed them. Now, in the second half, their defense was better. I'll give them credit.
Yes.
But in the first half, that wasn't no great Warrior defense. That was the Rockets going ice cold from 3 and winning anyway. James Harden's missed 23s in a row, and they've lost both those games.
Yeah, Jenna, you didn't like his comments. I didn't like his comments. You know what we would have felt better at if he had said, you know, this team we're facing is our biggest challenge that we faced in 4 years. That to me is a level of respect. I don't like the way these 2 games finished. Now, I might have liked the first 46 minutes, but the last 2 minutes in games 4 and 5 didn't like those. Those would have been honest replies from a coach.
And Jenna, Kevin Durant missed an opportunity in Game 4. Right? And he said he missed the opportunity in Game 4.
He knew it. He wanted the ball back.
He wanted the ball back. In his heart of hearts, maybe Kevin Durant was hoping Game 5 would be close before the game started. Not a
absolutely.
blowout. I want a chance to have that back. Well, let's see once the game got at the end of the game what happened. What happened was Eric Gordon hits a 3 to put Houston up 4. Houston doesn't make another basket after that. So here, Draymond Green. Hey, credit to Draymond. That's a big shot he makes. Quinn Cook. I mean, this guy was in the G League a few months ago. Miss. I haven't seen Kevin Durant involved yet, by the way. Steph Curry, miss. And then the final play, kick it to Draymond. Where's KD? Oh, there he is. Out of bounds. And you're going to see someone run into the frame.
Right.
It's not Kevin Durant.
Make an attempt. Get free. Free yourself.
My question is this. Even if Draymond doesn't fumble the ball, where's KD's involvement in that play when he's 46 feet from the basket and they got 4 seconds left?
Guys, is it on the table that the Warriors don't win this series?
Oh, no, absolutely. Anytime we knew this was going to be their biggest test of any team. Nick even admitted that. The Cleveland team that won a couple years ago is not as talented. Better defensively, and they did have LeBron, but this was going to be their best test of basketball against people that could match their three output. We can't match their Hall of Famers, but we knew Chris Paul added to this roster would be their biggest challenge. That's what they're facing.
And if they're going to, when they added KD, it changed the makeup of the team. They're obviously going to have less depth. They're also going to rely on their amazing motion offense less because you have a guy you can give the ball to, and it's supposed to be a damn near guaranteed bucket. Guy that can score on anyone.
It was supposed to
anywhere.
add to them. We're going to run motion. We have two of the best shooters ever in the history. And when we get bogged down, Jenna, I got a guy.
Well, I
got a guy that can get you a bucket.
They called Kevin Durant after game one the ultimate luxury. And it's what was so frustrating to me is Kevin Durant's not supposed to be your luxury. He's supposed to be what you're focused on. But Kevin Durant in the fourth quarter of this series, and it's not because he's playing 46 minutes a night. He's played more than 40 minutes just once in the series. What's Kevin Durant doing in the fourth quarter of these series? He's giving you 3 points on 18%, 12.5% from three. In the last two games, their two losses, he's 1 of 9 in the fourth quarter with 0 assists.
That's a real issue. That's a real issue. Kevin Durant. Last year, Kevin Durant said the game number 3, he hits the shot over LeBron. He said LeBron gave me the crown. At that point, I'm the best player. I'm the best player in the world. And in these last two games, we haven't seen that.
And in their losses, he's averaging 31. But he's doing it on 44% shooting. They're being outscored by 8 points a game while he's on the court, and he's averaging 1 assist. And I understand that there are some of these things that it's not his fault. It's not the way they're running their offense. You can't have the ball as much as he has it on a team with that many great players and have 3 assists total in their 3 losses. I don't think you can.
Yeah, you can have 3 assists by accident.
Right, when you have those teammates around you. So now they got lucky at the end in that Chris Paul's dinged up. We don't know if he's going to be healthy for Game 6. We don't even know if there's a Game 7 he's going to be there. But
the Rockets won a game without those two guys really contributing. So
without them being great.
Yeah.
I mean, this was, man, you tell me James Harden and CP3 are going to go 11 of 40. Trevor Ariza is going to hit 1 shot. And the Rockets are going to not make a basket in the final 80 seconds of the game. And man, that's a tough one now.
All right, guys.
Tough one.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.